Okay, wonderful. So, Christiane, I'll just quickly check on Facebook. I think it says that we are streaming live on Facebook. So wonderful. Hello there, Christiane.
Hi, so good to see you again, Kitty.
You too. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to be waiting for another couple of minutes for people to come online because it's supposed to be starting at 1:30. It's 1:28 right now. So for those of you who are already online, let me just quickly check on my phone. Yes, it's actually online now. For those of you who are on, maybe you can just pop into the comment below our Facebook Juggling Health and Wealth Live group that you're here. I can see 3 of you right now, so possibly people are slowly coming in as they are being told by the Facebook information there. So yeah, say hi to us. And here is my guest Christiane, and here we are going to be sharing a little bit about what she does and her story, and it will be wonderful for any one of you who are right now on this live with us to put any question that you might have, or if you've got any feedback while we're sharing, more than welcome to just pop it into the comment. So let's have a look. Hello there, Craig. Good to have you. Hey, Debbie. Okay, well, I can see a few of you there. So hello there. Now, so it's 1:30 right now, so let's get started. Okay, wonderful. Now, thank you everyone for being on with me today as you join me with my guest, Christiane Vee, who is the body transformation coach and author. We're going to be discovering how she personally has overcome a lot of challenges in life and become a coach in helping people reach their body transformation. So hello there, everyone. Kitty changed my name. I am in the lifestyle coaching business, specializing in helping individuals to supercharge their health and their wealth through nutrition, weight management, and mindset. And I help business owners and professional people to reach their total wellness and true wealth with my signature lifestyle and business programs. And I have a message that for those of you who are on my group, you would know that, and that is financial wealth and a thriving business is really worth nothing if we don't take care of all aspects of our well-being. So I provide my clients solutions and services tailored to their needs and help them juggle their health and their wealth. And so that's why I always have guests like Christiane and many others that are on the same wavelength as me in helping others reach their total wellness goal. So welcome, Christiane. Very happy to have you with us today.
Thank you, Kitty. It's so good to be here.
Yeah, so before we get started with our chatting, I'd just like to tell you guys about Christiane, and I've just got here in front of me her bio, and I'm gonna be sharing it. So Christiane is the body transformation coach and author, and she has healed herself of diabetes and also sleep disc naturally. And she has been able to overcome a lot of challenges and lost quite a fair bit of weight. And now she has reached her ideal weight. And the author of Health Dynamics, a unique principle of self-healing, it believes the human body can heal itself of any chronic condition and faster than you can imagine. So after she read The Philosophy of Microbiotics by George Omsawa, more than 30 years ago, her perspective on health changed to knowing that the body has been designed to heal itself. So Christiane, has her GP helping her reach the, type 2 diabetes, but now she has been able to have a natural method to heal this condition. So she doesn't want to end up, on medication, of course. And so now she has a lot of good specific supplements and regimens that she helps people with. And in 2019, she also transformed herself physically on the outside, went from 70 kilos to 53 kilos in 3 months under her program. So it's amazing. So thank you for being with us again, and love to get to know you more today. Christiane?
Thank you, Kitty.
Yeah, so maybe just to start off, tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you get started with this whole, wellness journey? In your bio, you shared a little bit, but maybe you can just, give us a little bit more information.
Yes, of course. So for me, many years ago, I had a friend. I was working as an administrative officer in Sydney for the Department of Defence, and one of the girls, she would always come along. We'd sort of meet at a certain point where all the filings were, because she was in a different section. So she'd come and tell me about brown rice is so good for you. And I go, and she says the brown rice got 7 layers in it. I
Right.
think, yeah, about 7 layers, and then it actually helps you digest, the grain, and it's full of mineral and vitamins. And I think a lot of monks actually just survive on brown rice alone,
Okay.
and they don't eat meat, and occasionally they eat a bit of fish and a bit of veggies, but
Yes.
maybe that has changed through the years. But so at the times, that's what I learned. That's from George Oshawa.
Yes.
He's a Japanese writer, and even wrote his book in French. He went to Paris, he left Japan
Yes.
and went to the Western world
Okay.
to help them understand food and how food should be grown in your own region, and the different type of blood types, and the basic thing which we've forgotten altogether. And
Yes.
I think Japanese, Asian and Oriental way of living is just so good for us, and we just have to go back to this, really, haven't we?
We do, I just still remember we were chatting just before we started this, that when I went to the Gold Coast, we caught up and we had this Asian diet, and had this really good lunch together, didn't we, Christiane?
It was beautiful, and it was good to meet your friends as well.
That's right, exactly. And I think some of them are maybe on here right now. Hello, Pietro, correct? And Sumya. Sumya is all the way from the US. And yeah, some of my friends over there in Queensland also, we caught up. And so tell us a bit about, what you do as a body transformation coach now.
Yeah, as a body transformation coach, my main point, my main purpose is actually, I'm planning to have 10 women losing weight through the month of June, but really have people look at um, really we have to look at taking supplements, as you know, because the program, um, to put anybody on a program now, we have to help the body with supplements to first detox, as you know. We've got to detox the body because, with all the kind of food we've been exposed to, it has clogged all our systems, and most of us are walking around on this planet being unhealthy.
Yes.
And it's a wake-up call for us to really look at what is it that we know we're eating, or even soft drinks or too much alcohol. What is it that we're doing to our body we shouldn't do, that we really have to stop doing?
Yeah.
And we're starting to think, before I put anything in my mouth, what is it that I should put in my mouth? What is it I should buy and take home to eat and drink, and that's not going to harm my body?
Exactly. That is so true, because a lot of times people think about, the kind of food that we eat, yes, very important, and exercise. But when it comes to transforming our body, we don't really get enough of the nutrients from the vital nutrients like the fruits and vegetables. So we do need supplements. So you actually advocated a self-healing process yourself to be able to, reverse type 2 diabetes. So how did you do that?
Well, for me, the main thing is for me that I did it because when the GP, every time I used to go to my doctor, he used to say, you know what, your mother's got diabetes, your 2 sisters have got diabetes,
Yeah.
and guess what? It's genetic, and you've got to have it. And I go, but I don't want it. So I thought, oh no, I never listened to him, so I just went along obviously not doing the right thing with what I was eating and drinking and thinking everything would be fine. But
Right.
eventually I walked in and he gave me the bad news that, yes, you've got diabetes. And he sent me to have a test done. And when I went to have the test done, they go, we can't give you the mixture to do the test because your sugar is so high, and if we give this to you to do the test, you're going to have a hypo. And then they sent me away. So obviously my sugar was extremely high.
Yes.
And that was a bit of a shock to me, thinking that, I was immune to any disease. I was healthy. I was doing everything fine. So that was a big wake up call for me, really, to look at my health and
Yeah.
how negligent I have been in really observing, eating and drinking the right thing to really add nutrition to my body.
Wow. Hmm. And so that you went through that whole process of learning about how you could do that on your own without relying on drugs and or even insulin, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Because my two sisters are actually on insulin, and that's one thing that had me make this decision. And although I had made the decision, like, no, I don't want the diabetes,
Yeah.
and then I go, okay, I don't want medication, so how am I going to heal myself? So I kept asking questions to people, what they've heard, who's got diabetes that they know. And I did a bit of research on the internet, and then I went draw back to Zen Macrobiotic, because I still have all the books with me,
Yes.
and went back to what uh, George O'Shara was talking about, and went back to basics. And so I got rid of all wheat in my diet, and I only started having rice, because rice is natural.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a lot more vegetables. I started walking, and I did take supplements, like supplements to detox my liver, and I took supplements to, just give me more energy and balance my sugar. And also, I took supplements to restore my cells.
Yes.
So I think that was very important as well. So basically, that's what I did, and I did it for about 9 years.
Mm.
Um, and that it went better than I thought, and I didn't even know what I was doing, really, but I knew I wanted to heal myself.
Right. And so when you talk about rice, of course, you're talking about brown rice and basmati and not the processed white rice, which I always tell my clients not to go for. They're not natural, right?
Correct.
Yes.
You've
Very
got that
good.
right, Kitty.
Yes, yes. And now, as a result of you being able to heal yourself from diabetes and the health issues, you've actually written a book called Health Dynamics. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, in health dynamics, I talk about mind power, I talk about body wisdom, and I give a bit of recipes.
Yes.
And I also talk about beliefs as well, because people have, we've been conditioned with certain beliefs. Things have to be a certain way. And so a lot of beliefs have got us into trouble through the years.
Yes.
Things have happened to us because we've gone along to a belief that had us to go a certain way. And that's with health and relationship,
Sure.
generally with things in our life, making the wrong decisions or not making decisions. So really, so I talk a bit about all this, and actually talk about my quest and the global change as well, because what's happening at the moment with COVID, it's something that's been in the pipeline for quite some time.
Certainly.
And this situation we're in now is is not very pleasant for a lot of people, but it's very, very important for us, because it's a bit of a shake up. Just like when I was diagnosed, it was a bit of a shake up for me to look at my health.
Yes.
So that is very much the same thing, that the whole planet is being shaken up. And I think somebody told me once upon a time that it's only through chaos that there's change.
Mm.
So So this is, there's a bit of chaos at the moment, but once everything falls into place and everything is just changing completely, and we just have to trust that at the end of it, there's going to be good results.
I totally agree and resonate with everything you say. In fact, the programs that I run for my clients is pretty much the same thing. It's not only just about the food or the exercise, or the mindset is extremely important, of course, with scientific supplementation. I think, loving our body is one thing that you and I both advocate. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about how we can actually love our body or love ourselves, to self-care, self-compassion. How can we do that? Because in this day and age, everyone is just, so busy to a point that sometimes they don't look after themselves, right?
Right, correct. So it's so easy to get sidetracked
Yes.
with everything that's happening around us.
Yes.
And I think this situation we've had has had people look at themselves and see what they are missing,
Yeah.
and what is it they've been doing that hasn't really been conducive to their life, that haven't helped them. So really what I do, I really I love taking on challenges,
Yes.
because like for a little while I hadn't been doing any exercises as such. I've been walking but not adding other exercises. And so all of a sudden somebody mentioned, oh, would you like to take part into our plank and squats challenge? Simple plank and squats and squash. So, and I thought, wow, why not? And this is something that everyone listening to can do, because you can fit it any time in your day. And some days, even myself, I get so busy and it's like 11 o'clock at night, I haven't done my challenge. So I just take a few minutes and do it. So and I'm just so conscious and so committed. Yes. That before I do that, even my meditation, I meditate every day. Excuse me, even for 15 minutes. And even if I go to bed at midnight or before midnight, it's late, I do 15 minutes of meditation. So if they take on something that they really have it as a routine, we've got to have a routine. It's just like when you brush your teeth, you don't have to think about it. Your body will take you to the bathroom and your hand will pick up the toothbrush and you just do it. You don't have to tell yourself to do it. Yes. So if you have a small routine, a small physical routine, a small physical exercise routine every day that you can stick to, it will make a big change in your life.
Absolutely. Yes.
And so the squats and plank challenge started at 50 squats.
Okay.
And 20 seconds of plank. And the 30th day, I had to do 250 squats. I ended up doing 300.
Yes.
And then I had to do 5 minutes. 5 minutes of plank.
Wow, that's amazing, Christiane. 5 minutes non-stop, right?
I didn't even know I could do it. And when I did it, oh, wow. Because I kept challenging myself every day. Yes. I didn't even know I could stay on the challenge.
Yes.
So I think probably the idea is keeping healthy and nurturing yourself is giving yourself a little challenge every day. Even like, a lot of people like a bath and anything that they feel they would love to do for themselves. So if they just write probably 3 things that they've been thinking about doing and haven't done for themselves, or they've always been, they haven't done it for a while. So 3 things that they would love to do and it would make them feel good about themselves. Write it down right now and then go out and make time in their diary to fit it in.
Exactly. We've been told that fitness means fit it in, It's so true. If we want to be fit, we want to be healthy, we do need to schedule time to do it, because what gets scheduled gets done. And I was just telling, my clients, I'm doing this 90-day Get Lean during quarantine right now. And we have been having so many Zoom meetings like this one. And so one Zoom after the other, but in between you would definitely have like 5 minutes, and you can just spend those 5 minutes doing 2 minutes of plan, right? Like, it's so simple, but something that if we schedule it in, we know that we will do it. So it's really good tip there. Thank you, Christiane. And what about eating? Like when it comes to eating, how do you actually look at the type of food and how you then able to burn fat and instead of using glucose, for energy and stuff like that?
Yeah, as you know, with your programs,
Yes.
all the programs that you have together, I actually was on your Zoom,
Yes.
which is really amazing program. And just like I do know, we do have to have certain supplements to keep us going. And what a lot of people do, they just take, they actually prescribe themselves with supplements, and they don't even know why they're taking it. So, and they will go and say, I need some B vitamins, so I need this and that, and they don't even know whether their body needs it.
Yes.
And they keep taking on for years on.
Wow.
And maybe their body needs other supplements that they don't know. So you really understand their body and, eating, as you said, eating the right thing. So what I do, I really watch, I get very naughty sometimes, and I do have things that I'm not supposed to have, like chips and things like that.
Right.
These are things you can't have all the time. You can treat yourself. You can, because we love the taste of food, even if it's not good for us,
Yes.
right? So then, if like, first of all, the idea is not to bring home what you think you shouldn't be having. Food that you think you shouldn't be having, don't take it home when you do your shopping. Very conscious of that. And just mostly keep to the greens. The greens very good for you. But sometimes if you can manage your weight, you can probably go out and do, eat, things that are, like the chips or a nice steak or whatever. Some people are vegetarian, so others are not. But we know that we've been naughty. We've got to be good for about 2 weeks or something.
Yes. That's really good because we actually have a flex plan. When people actually reach certain milestone, then we'll say, okay, we let you have the Pareto principle 80% of the time. You follow the menu plan that we subscribe to you based on our questionnaire and understanding, there's no one size fits all, but they can actually have a bit of indulgence every now and then, right? And then they can get back onto, their suitable menu plan and recipe. So that's really, really good tip there. And learn how to spend a little time on exercise, as you mentioned, to keep it fit, right? So like the challenges is amazing. So we can, like even now during COVID-19, can have like Zoom meeting where we do exercises together, whether it's planking together, whether it's Zumba together, or even high intensity interval training. So we run trainings like that on Zoom. I mean, in the past, we used to be meeting face to face, but it can be done. And I really love your idea about, turning from chaos into a transformation. That is something that I personally have experienced as well. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about your experience, because you've been through, as I am aware from reading your book and your experience, that quite a lot of challenges in life, even domestic violence and difficulties. How did you turn all these difficulties, challenges, and chaos into now being transformed to have the ideal weight? Maybe you can give us a few tips on that.
Yeah, so we do have very different challenges. Some people go through worse challenges than others. As you mentioned, I was actually, I experienced domestic violence. I was in a domestic violent relationship for 21 years.
Yeah.
And I remained in it because of my belief. My parents stayed together until they died. And I thought to myself, maybe, things will change, my husband will change.
Right.
Come to a point that I had to draw the line somewhere and realize that if I stayed in this situation, I wouldn't have a life to myself, and this would consume me.
Yes.
So I went and sought help, and I was talking to a few people, and I had this amazing lady who was my mentor, and she helped me realize that I had to make choices in my life, and I could choose to stay in the situation, or I could choose to just get my power back and just go and live my life the way I want to, and not having to put up with a situation I didn't want.
Yes.
So I triumphed over the past with that, with all the coaching and having her to really support me.
Yeah.
And then started a new life for myself. And obviously I was on medication then, and that was my first initial thought about how can I get rid of the medication and just get supplement to heal myself. That was the first time.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as you know, I had a back issue, and then I had the diabetes. They're the three main things that happen in my life. So
Yeah.
whatever life throws at us, we have the power to say what we want. We have the power to know what we can go out there and get. And I just was on a networking event this morning when they actually talk about how everything we want in the world already exists. Abundance is everywhere. So any kind of life we want, all by our dreams and desires,
Yes.
can be fulfilled because it's already there around us. And it's just a matter of learning how to tap into it. And to really, the main thing is to go within ourselves. All the learning and all the knowledge is within.
Yes. That's
So
beautiful.
we just have to connect with ourselves, and we'll get the answers.
I love the idea that you actually spend time and take time out to look after yourself and also meditate. So when you meditate, what exactly do you do?
Oh, I just learned a new form of meditation. Okay. And I have had many, because I've done, there's a meditation, I don't know if you've heard of Vipassana.
Right, no, I haven't. I normally do mindful practice, but yes.
But Vipassana is very interesting. Vipassana is a 10-day where you go to somewhere and they take your keys away.
Oh,
and,
okay. It's silent retreat, is it?
Yeah, you have to hand in your keys, your purse, or your phone, or your belongings. They put it in a safe, they put it under lock and key.
Right.
And then, so for 10 days, you only have one meal a day.
Oh, okay.
You're not allowed to talk to each other.
Right.
And then, so you wake up at 4 o'clock, you meditate until about 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
At 6 o'clock, you actually have breakfast.
Yes.
And then after that, so you have breakfast at 6, and you had your lunch at 11 o'clock, and that's the last meal of the day. And you're not allowed to, I brought all these snacks with me. I had to hand them over. So you're not allowed to have snacks in between except water.
Okay.
And then at 5 p.m., you just have a cup of herbal tea.
Right.
And then you can have a piece of fruit, one piece of fruit, and that's it until the next day. So it was like this. That was for 10 days.
I see. It's very interesting. I don't know if I can subscribe to that, because
it's amazing. And Kitty, I did this just before I went on my retreat, and it was so helpful. I had a clear mind. And the idea of this is to have you to be, you've heard about detachment?
Yes, right.
You detach yourself from any material things, and you go within yourself, and you find the answers within, and you connect with yourself. So then, when I came out of that, it was just totally amazing. So this is one form of meditation, but I follow different ones. But I just wanted to share something with you, though, because apart from doing the meditation and the health challenge, I also in a group of 12 women, and we actually go according to a book where it actually teaches us all to get in touch with our emotional, and to create abundance around us and all that kind of stuff. But so as one thing we had, as part of it, we have to write 3 pages of journal every day, which I do.
Yes.
3 pages of journal every day, and then we have to do one date, a date with ourselves. So you were talking about caring for yourself.
Sure.
So, and this date, it has to be by yourself. You do something that you probably go shopping, and you could probably take a dance lesson by yourself, and now you can do it on Zoom. And so what I took up is doing belly dancing.
Belly dancing. That sounds like a lot of
Online.
fun. Yes.
So just like any other exercises, everything is available on YouTube.
Yes.
And people can take, and I did some African dancing,
Okay.
and then I've done some belly dancing. So if anybody wants to do something for enjoyment and to care for themselves and have a bit of free time for themselves, then they go to YouTube and pick what they want. They can learn to play the guitar. And I've been listening to concerts from New York
Yes.
as my date, you know.
Okay.
So just something I enjoy. So I think another advice I'd give today, something I'd share that people might take on, just have a date with yourself.
Yes.
Once a week if possible, and go on YouTube and look at something that you enjoy and you haven't had time to do and you've always dreamed of doing, and learn to do something, learn to play the guitar, everything is on YouTube. So this is how blessed we are with the digital world.
Yes.
It's not all bad. There's so much, that's available to us.
Yes, I've been doing like learning singing, with my teacher on Zoom. Like, it's really doable, and I really think that with all the resources available, we don't have shortage of things to learn for sure. And well, thank you for sharing today. And I mean, for me personally, I do it in a different way, but it's still the same kind of idea. Is that like I take time out for myself and just to be, focusing on what, the breathing and all that, but it's the same kind of concept. And I believe in a higher power. I believe in God. And so I connect with him through, the prayer and reading of scripture and stuff like that. But no matter which way that you choose to have that self-care, I think it's important for us to, take time out to not just do things going through the motion, but to be living in the moment. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. But one thing I like to add about meditation.
Yes.
So for people who can't settle or can't sleep, we do have a series of meditation to do with frequencies.
Yes.
And the frequency of love is 528 hertz.
Right.
So I've done a lot of that, when I've had to deal with things. So you go on YouTube and you actually search for 528 hertz,
Okay.
which is the frequency of love.
Oh,
and if
wow.
you're unsettled, you're dealing with terrible things, with really challenging things in life, and you can't find answers, you want clarity, and you feel lost or you feel rejected. If you just go and dial the frequency of love and do an hour of that, it will totally transform your body. It will take you to a higher vibration. And wow, I highly recommend this.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Christiane. Really, really appreciate it. And so, yeah, anyone who would like to know more about Christiane,